It's a wonderful opportunity for us to hear some reflections, some sharing from Dr. Suhas, of whom I'm sure you have had the chance to find out, and many of you have had readings. I was privileged to have readings by many astrologers, including some very legendary ones. I've met Chakrapani Ulal in California during my stays, as at the time my assistant knew him since the early years in Muktananda's movement in Siddha Yoga. And although I had a reading with Chakrapani Ulal, when Dr. Suhas ran me through my chart, there were several things that was complete revelation for me, for which I was very, very grateful. Insights, precision, and directness was uncanny and nothing short of really revealing.
My heartfelt thank, and I would like to express my deep gratitude towards Vamadeva and his entire organization for giving me an opportunity to be here with all of you enlightened people. It's a wonderful experience for me to be here in this field, I would say, and more importantly, to hear and interact with each one of you. Jyotish chart, planet, doshas, all energy, nothing more to that. You're just understanding the energy and changing it, turning it, making it move. Because this aspect of energy is so prominent in all the Vedic culture. Like these buildings are built according to Vastu. And the first ray of the rising sun falls into that meditation hall as the Brahmasthana. So we want the radiant energy of the sun as the first thing to happen. What you're bringing in, how the directional coordinates of this place and building is happening is all energy. North, south, east, west, energy. And as you are all energy practitioners, if I may say, is about paying attention to the movement, what is happening. Because the word Prakriti, as we often use that, the mother nature. But it's very dynamic, okay? So the English word Kriti became creatus, creatus became creation. So the English word creation comes from Kriti. And Prakriti, creating according to a plan, what Prakriti means. Prakarshena kriyate iti Prakriti. So procreation comes from Prakriti. So creating according to a plan, it's not a random thing that is happening. Every energetic movement in body is Shakti, is movement. Whether you call it your hunger, thirst, bowel movement, urination, coughing, sneezing, belching, crying, Vegas, they're all energetic movement that are happening, creating a flow of going in and going out, breath, going in or out. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samsthita. Namastasya, 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 namas. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samsthita. Sleep, hunger, thirst, kshuddha, buddhi. Dhi, dhriti, and smriti. That's what we talk about. Pragyaparad, is that right? Pragyaparad is the mistaken intellect. The manas shakti, the shakti, the strength of the mind are called as dhi, which is buddhi. Dhriti, which is your willpower, patience, discipline. And smriti, which is your memory, retention, cognition, recall, is the goddess energy. These are manas shakti. So every time we look at it, there is a flow of this energy that is happening everywhere in our body all the time. even before we were born. We call it as Mother Nature. We call it as Matru Rupena Samsara because at whose breast the humanity is nourished and in whose lap the civilizations are cradled. There's no other. So this conflict with your mother form or your source is so important to celebrate that without fear, without prejudice, without anger, for God's sake. Because your total entity right now depends upon that. We just culminated the 15 days of Pitru Paksha, celebrations of the ancestors. And why do we need to celebrate? Because as I said, that every grain of you is totally created, made by them. Look at your hand, and you can see everyone that has come and gone in your lives before that single cell was given to you. It's the point of convergence that maybe a sperm and ovum come from so many directions, from your maternal side, paternal side, all converging, creating that fusion, you becoming who you are and creating your own family thereafter, continuing this thread of wholeness. So celebrating ancestors is so important. We invoke them, we celebrate them, we get Shakti from them for our existence. We often do a simple exercise where you are imagining that you're drawing a circle. And as you hold a pen on a blank paper, you say, I invite my father to draw a circle with me. And you imagine he's holding your hand and you're drawing a circle. You pause, take a little breath, and then make an inner circle and say, I invite my mother to draw a circle with me. Think of her, feel her holding your hand and draw another circle. Go to your great-grandfather, grandmother. Go back at least 3 to 4 generations as you can. And with a simple exercise, you are invoking the Pitris, the ancestors, which has given you not only your looks, color of eyes and hair, but everything, including the karmas that you have inherited. So when we look at astrology, it actually tells us the karmic journey. It's from infinity to the point where it collapses at that point when you were born. And from that point, the infinity journey of your own is beginning. So from that point, you understand where you are coming from, and you also can safely predict where you are going. And what are the pitfalls, you may say? Sorry for these lengthy discussions. You can stop me anytime you want because I love to teach, and just tell me to shut up and I will wait.
No, it's good. Let's take maybe.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what do you think it's going to take for Ayurveda to become more widely accepted in the Western world, particularly in the U.S., because it's obviously so valuable, and I think so many people could benefit from a more holistic understanding.
It is becoming more and more popular along with yoga in almost all different countries in the world as such. But as I said, there are challenges with Ayurveda because it's still a science where you'll have to apply, you'll have to select the right kind of food, diet, spices, things like that. So it is something that you will have to shift and change. It is not simple. We have trained medicine as something that you don't have to worry about anything. You come to me and I'll fix you kind of a thing. And that's not what Ayurvedic model is. People come to us that my headache is your headache, fix me. And it's not how it works. So by telling them to understand what are you doing that is leading you to this imbalance and how can you undo that, not everybody is wanting to listen to understand why they're messed up and what they need to be doing. What are the choices that they're making, what food they're eating. Means I wrote this book called as Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life. And it became very popular because I was practicing in the Bay Area and everybody's schedule was so busy. so busy. 14, 16 hours of work is a norm. Means it was good earlier that we used to come in, clock the card, this time we show up, this time we leave. But now with the smartphone, you are on call all the time. You are working all the time, till you open your eyes, till you go to bed. And this invisible boundaries is making our system very, very jittery all the time. And one of the things, and the reason why I wrote this book is, I can tell you, do oil massage, do pranayama, do meditation, do abhyanga, prepare khichdi. Who has time to do this? They tell us, Dr. Suhas, I get paid $150 an hour and I can buy any good quality organic food you tell me to for $10. And why should I spend my time to prepare a khichdi and shop, buy veggies and do this and all that, doing this for myself? The me time is gone. And you are replacing that time. You are equating your time with happiness. That is what is creating the biggest problem. When you don't have time for yourself, then everything becomes chaotic. I can tell you what time to go to sleep, I can tell you when to exercise, but if you don't have time for yourself, and the notion that busyness is happiness, the more busy you are, the more happy you are. It's an illusion. And people feel really bad if they're not busy, is that right? They feel left out, or it's a very deflating feeling that nobody needs you. It's a very gratifying feeling that everybody needs you in the workplace and everybody counts on you and you have no time to do anything else. But those busy schedules, those circadian disruption, you eat when you want, you sleep when you want, you have sex when you want, you watch whenever you have time to do anything, is just dictating desynchronization, disalignment. So the limitation for Ayurveda is to live in accordance with the laws of nature. Solar eating, eat your main meal of the day. How many people that you know that their main meal of the day is in the evening only? No matter how much we tell them, okay? I wrote this book called as The Hot Belly Diet, which also became very popular. And one of the things when I was researching for the book was eat late to gain some weight, sleep late to gain some weight. And if you're doing both, you're doomed. Nobody can help you. If you are eating late and sleeping late, the logic is your heart, your body, your metabolic function is like a blooming, blossoming lotus. It opens during the sunlight and shuts down after sunset. And when the sun sets, you put truckload of food, everything is shut down. It just stays into the system without getting digested for next day morning. You wake up dull, heavy, groggy, mucousy, congested, toxic, tired. Then you add tons of caffeine on top of that to get you going. And because of caffeine, you're not hungry at the right time. Then you eat late lunch. Then you're not hungry early for dinner. Then you eat late. Especially where I live, you commute to work 1.5 hours. You drive back 1.5 hours. You sit in your cubicles for 7, 8, 9 hours. And then you slump in your sofa and watch some passive entertainment and go to sleep for another 8, 9 hours. You're doing nothing. That's every day for many people. So to tell people that this is what Ayurvedic science is, how to participate in your own health and well-being, the crisis is time. And it's an illusion that this is what is creating busyness over happiness. It's costing us a lot. And the circadian disruption, the clock genes that the Nobel Prize was given to them, these are all signs. And they perfectly sync with Ayurveda has been talking about ages together. The times of the dosha clock, Vata, Pitta, Kapha times, the times of the day, what to do at what time, the timing of everything. It's not what, how, but when. It's all timing. When we meditate, at the stroke of dawn, because the night is ending, the day is beginning. That's a good time to meditate. And in the evening, when the day is ending, the night is setting, and that's the time to meditate. Those are the two polarities of day and night. Because the whole physiology is dictated by the cycles of light and darkness. That's what it is. And there's no way you can justify that I am a lark, I am a night owl, this and that. You live on planet Earth, you have no excuse. The seasons come and go. You can't choose that. You just accept it. And you just sync your body along with that. Can you tell them, I'm too busy right now for the fall equinox, can you come a week later? It does things automatically. Do you complain? Oh, I would like to have it maybe 5 degrees warmer. Can you do that? You accept it as is it. You have to sync your physiology with what is happening around the nature. And your body is 100% made by nature. The food you consume, everything that you take in, from any field of perception, from any mode of intellect, that's who you become. You are nothing but the metabolic end product of your sensory experiences. That's who you are. You are the metabolic end product of your sensory experience. And to calibrate that, to understand that, you have to be mindful. You have to be aware. You have to know, you have to learn, you have to do this in order to practice this. And there's so much of illusion, chaos, confusion that we talk about that is totally nonsensical. I was listening to the debate yesterday, and we are still fighting on the same issue. God knows how many decades that we are going to fight about. Every election is we have the same issue that we talk about. And the challenge is not about that. It's the nation is the collective consciousness of people. So what we feed our kids in our school, in our public school, it is criminal to a certain extent. Is that right? The way we feed our own kids in our own public system, and then we know very well that the food becomes your mind and body. And if that is the food that we are giving to our own kids, and they become angry, they become unhappy, they become depressed, then we start finding solutions for the school gun violence to do this, because what we give is what they become. It's really bad. If you really pay attention to what we are doing and what choices we are making, you go to the kids' aisles in a supermarket and you walk around, it is criminal to sell these foods to our own children. All the sugary, fruity lops and things like that. And then we want to spend that. Why the childhood attention deficit is becoming alarmingly high. They're not getting good score. They're hyperactive. They have attention deficit. Many of the kids have mental health problem. It's obvious. So the bigger problem with all of this is Ayurveda is a science of life. People who understand it, people who follow it, and the green revolution, organic eating, non-GMO eating, eating local foods, shopping in farmers market, exercising, spending time outdoors, doing yoga, finding some time of restful awareness and relaxation. How many apps are coming out to help you practice meditation or tell you breathe? It just buzzes right now telling me that you've been sitting for 1 hour, get up. That's what it was telling me. Means there are all ways to help you to a certain extent, but you still have to participate. You have to listen to that. Is that right? It all boils down to your mental and emotional health, how it will help you to a certain extent. And I'm very happy that you're here, you're practicing, you're learning, you're being introduced to yourself. That's what you're doing. You're being introduced to your own self. Because we are disconnected. We are running away from that. And every time you close your eyes, you're listening to your own radio station, which can be very challenging, very painful. But the moment you start feeling comfortable with your inner environment, that's when you start feeling more comfortable with doing anything else.